Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Hasani Steele of Steele Consulting Group, RE/MAX Premier Properties based out of Chicago, Illinois. Hasani is the CEO of Steele Consulting Group, which is based in downtown Chicago and specializes in real estate consulting from design to development and delivery. With over 15 years experience and $220 million in sales combined, he is highly regarded among industry peers for his expertise and product integrity. Over his illustrious career, he has received numerous awards, including the #1 Northern Illinois RE/MAX agent in 2013 and the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015. Hasani's properties have consistently won Good Neighbor Awards over the past 8 years for adding to their local economies and increasing civic pride. Already this year, he was named by the Chicago Association of Realtors as top renovator within the residential and multi-unit construction category, and most recently was named by RealTrends as one of America's best real estate agents. All right, with all that said, Hasani, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And Hasani, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
It all started when I was a kid. I would go to Al's Hobby Shop, which is a local hobby shop for radio control, and I was trying to figure out a way of always, making some money as a kid. So I, started by working with a close friend of my father's, which has kind of turned into like an aunt, but she would basically buy old homes and then hire me to strip wallpaper and paint and just be an assistant to a lot of the contractors at that point. So it wasn't something that I necessarily really knew that I was going to do, but I think that's where I got my first experience. And then as I got older, different opportunities presented themselves, and that's when the vision started as a kid. So initially, it was a means to buy some other hobbies, get some airplanes, some radio control airplanes, as a kid. And then as I got older, I, realized, how lucrative it could be in terms of investing. And then that led to me selling, and then, basically just proceeded from there.
Excellent. And can you talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to give credit to my parents. They, started in the inner city, and they started in the Altgeld Gardens housing projects. And my mom also lived on the south side. So they, from a very early age, we had moved to the suburbs, and my parents have always, had high expectations, and they've been good role models. And so I just, really always had very close mentors and support. So definitely just having my family and my mother and father, really helping to, help me, go through adversity. Real estate has a lot of adversity. There's always, it wants to be chaotic. It wants to kind of, when you do a project, things, want to go slower. There's a lot of Murphy's Law, so just having that persistence, and having the vision and setting goals was one thing. And, just my strong work ethic. Sports have really taught me a lot about that. Just playing football, I received a scholarship to Northwestern, but just in earning that, in high school and working really hard, doing 3-a-days and, setting goals, trying to better yourself, really pushing yourself physically, really taught me, basically that, nothing really comes easy. And, if you really work at something hard enough, you can, have the success and things like that. So, just that persistence, setting goals, creating a cause for yourself, something bigger, I would say is, one of the bigger reasons.
And Hasani, I think whenever somebody builds a successful business and a career, that sometimes the path to get there is filled with bumps in the road along the way. Can you talk a little bit about some of the adversities and trials you've had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, just thinking back, a lot of what got me through that was just, being able to work well as a team and helping the people that you work with see it as such. Because usually you have to go above and beyond what your normal call of duty is. So when I first started real estate, I'm basically a computer engineer, and I was working for Tellabs. And shortly after 9/11, I'd say maybe 6 months to a year, I was laid off after about 4 rounds. So I had to, out of college, I was like maybe there for a few years, and so I was designing circuit boards and, or telecom installations for control offices, things like that, and design the installation of those. And then I was laid off, and then that was pretty tough because I wanted to get into real estate, and I had kind of, started buying places, but the timing wasn't just right. So I did have to go and find another job at that point. So there was a lot of change there that was pretty tough, but I had to leverage, different lines of credit and personal savings. So sometimes, when you're looking to start a career or have success, it's not necessarily taking a step backwards, but, having to invest basically what you have, and sometimes it's all that you have, and it can be a little scary, but I did work for CarMax as a buyer when I had to go back and get a job, and it was a bit humbling because sometimes people would have judgment, with that, because I go from, doing, engineering work to, selling and buying cars. But what I did was, I basically, took that as an opportunity, to go in there and make a difference. And I was able to open up, a pretty big store here and use some of my troubleshooting skills to design, a perfect mix score, in terms of being able to help them in their inventory and buying those cars, throughout the nation to start off strong. So, a lot of the adversity initially just had to do with, drastically kind of getting thrown into it because I didn't really have anything else at the time. No one was really hiring. It's kind of similar environment, that college kids have now, and I just had to really be entrepreneurial, but finding the work-life balance and dealing with the demanding work schedule, is another challenge as well because I have a family of 5. So I've got, twin daughters that are almost 6, and I have a younger daughter that just turned 2. But the biggest thing was, when I first started, just kind of really stepping out there and, leveraging, a lot of my credit and a lot of my, initial savings and money, and, while still trying to, balance work life and doing that. But, one of the things that I definitely, look back on is I'd say every time that, I've faced adversity, just having that desire to really, want to be successful and, want to build something greater is what really kept me going. But those are just a few things that, I had to overcome that, really stand out in the beginning that for many, they may, say it's not meant to be, but I definitely say, with me persevering and kind of making it through those challenges, it definitely paid off and it was definitely worth it.
And looking forward, Hasani, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
I know that, over the last 5 years, if I look back, I'll say, when I said that I wanted to build a business of perennials, and I've done that, meaning that a lot of the relationships and things that I've had have kind of grown into more longer-term relationships that are going to really help us in terms of moving forward to grow a business, that's going to last for, centuries is how I see it. So if I shoot for that. So, what I really want to do is I want to continue to build my team and teach others, kind of be a coach, so to speak, where I can specialize in looking at the overall larger vision. I think I have a, certain level of like intuition and foresight about, the differences in the market, but just teaching others, my skill set and what I learned. And, I'm at a point now of where we're going through a lot of growth over the last couple of years. So, just being able to communicate and get the same type of success while, not just being the only chef in the kitchen, but just being able to do it through the use of other people and helping, them to learn. So I would say the next 5 years, I definitely want to continue growing the consulting arm of our business. There are a lot of great, younger in terms of entering the industry, developers and investors that are coming from outside, and I want to work with them and teach them, about really building, housing with integrity, and, really, building it in a way as to where, the quality is there and the attention to detail. So I want to grow my business, and I want to involve, more of the use of others on my team, to help them in their careers and grow. So I'm, like I said before, I'm having a family that's, expanding, and I want to have a, live-work balance, but still get the same great results, but also be able to do it with the use of a strong team.
And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle for me. I consider, myself to be a market maker. So I focus on doing what's hard and mastering that. So, others might grab the low-hanging fruit, but I know if I keep myself in really good shape, and there's a lot of parallels to sports, because, the fastest receivers and, the strongest linemen, the quickest DBs, they're going to keep themselves better than the next guy. And the way that I see it is like, I'm going to, master the path of hardest resistance. That's being able to sell and lead the market. Right now, we go into markets where, we're able to sell our product, in many cases, sometimes 30% higher than the existing sales. And it's not overcharging, no, it's just, raising the bar so that the market can continue to grow and flourish. We sell in all areas of the city, but when we have opportunities to, allow new markets to expand and grow, we have to be the first to go in and establish those new sales comparables or bring that new product there and be able to recognize and see that there is a target market for that product. So it's basically it's continuing to have that kind of mindset, thinking optimistically about the market and making sure that the type of housing that we do is just that. It's housing for people. It's not necessarily just, for investors to buy and flip, but it's for people to come and have like a permanent home. So I think if I just continue just pursuing, my passion and thinking about being a market leader and a mentor for others and thinking about what kind of new opportunities, housing, commercial property is needed in various communities, everything else will take care of itself.
And Hasani, I think sometimes when the general public looks at real estate agents, they don't fully understand the value that they provide from both a buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
I think that real estate agents, they're really we are a guide. Okay, so real estate agents of today, we don't find the properties anymore. We can, but a lot of people will go online and shop just like you do if you're looking to purchase any retail product. I mean, everybody has it at the palm of their hand. What I tend to focus on is making sure that I can help them in terms of avoiding various pitfalls and mistakes, something that a computer or website can't give them. And a good real estate agent today is going to be able to, help you with, recognizing, just how to build something the proper way. If you go into a property and it's new construction, be able to know a lot of those codes and, city code, building codes, and helping them to understand, which developers, which agents tend to represent, different qualities of properties and filling them with that, type of information. A real estate agent, a good real estate agent also can help you to, negotiate a fair deal. Even though new construction typically sells for the asking price, there are many other things that you can negotiate in a deal. It's not just price. And depending on, what you're looking for in a home, there are developers, too, that's willing to do that. Different property types, condominiums versus single-family homes. When you're purchasing into a condominium, it's very important to understand the association, how well that's ran, do they have reserves, is there a rental limitation? Just a lot of the, behind-the-scenes air checking and just things to look out for that don't really, make the headings. A lot of people will kind of look at the photos and the pictures of the properties, but there's a lot of things underneath that's going to be crucial for buyers to know and be guided through so that they can make a good overall purchase. So it's just, It's understanding everything about real estate, not just opening and closing doors. And a good real estate agent is going to be, when you meet with them, they're going to be able to, tell you every single thing about the industry. They're going to know how to build. They're going to know, what developers are pretty much known for in terms of their resale value. They're going to understand what people typically negotiate for. They're going to know what features to look for, in a home. They're going to be all in, not just someone that's going to, send you 5 or 6 properties and show you, but this is going to be somebody that's got, decades of experience that's going to help you in terms of making your decisions.
And Hasani, let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state, and they want to sell your home. Now, obviously, with your experience and probably with your network, you could easily look up an agent and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
So the first thing I would do is just say, what experience level do they have? So, if I'm going to go to a financial advisor, I'm going to want to know if they've been through various, downturns. I'm going to want to know, were you around, when we had our initial, market crash during 9/11? Were you around when we had various challenges, leading up into, what some might have called the double dip recession, that never really came but was close by? Just what experience do you have and what have you worked through? And that's important because, going into those things, there's certain indicators that only experience kind of shows you. So number one, how long you've been around, how long you've been practicing, and, so that's the first question. What credentials do they have? Have they won any awards? What types? Are they, the awards that, you pay for? Like there's some companies out there where, you kind of subscribe and they find a category where you're number one in that. But just organically, has people recognized them? And when you Google them and when you search for them, is it easy to find them in terms of when you do your due diligence? I would check reviews on Facebook. I would check reviews on various social media profiles, including, LinkedIn and, maybe some of the Realtor.com. Yelp can tend to be a bit negative, where people will tend to kind of go on there. But understanding that, and keeping that in perspective, I will look on those outlets. And then what does their website look like? How do they feel about, investing in themselves? And that's very important because when your home goes for sale, your house is basically their house. So are they, using cutting-edge technology? I mean, we all know that, marketing is crucial, and merchandising, especially, how those products are staged, is very crucial in terms of how, purchasers purchase and understanding the emotional aspects of a buyer. So looking at their website is very important for that. At first glance, you might say, oh, it's not a big deal, but it is, because it's how your property is being presented. And I would also look at testimonials. Testimonials, you can tell when they're genuinely written. You read the testimonials and you kind of go through there. It's really hard to kind of make them up, but if you are able to look at somebody's testimonials, over the course of their career and things like that, and there's ways of verifying, I would look at that stuff. It does take effort to ask for them, and if someone has them, it doesn't, it's not necessarily like, it's not necessarily going to guarantee you, a certain, result, but just the fact that they were able to get them is really important. Some people may not want to take the time to write them, so if they've compelled someone to really take that time to write a testimonial, then it's up to you to make sure that you do that. And then spend enough time in researching this person. Your gut is not going to lie to you, and if you really give, a great amount of effort, towards really taking the time to research like you would before you make any purchase, it'll come to you. It definitely will. But those things, I will look at experience level, credentials, see if they won any awards, and then have those awards been from within their own industry, from their peers? That's important. Are they respected? When they negotiate on your behalf, this is going to be somebody that's, you're going to want to be respected amongst their peers so that you can get the best advantage. So, what I try to do is I try to be a mentor and a leader in my industry. And then when I'm coming and I'm showing up to some of these property showings, or if I'm negotiating, right off the bat, the other agents are already kind of like on the same team. And they understand that, I'm very reasonable and I'm a win-win. So you want that same type of player, from wherever you're at.
And Hasani, obviously based out of the Chicago, Illinois area, and if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help?
Well, number one, my website, whatissteele.com, is just rich with both property and just local community content. I really, eat, sleep, and just drink real estate. And I think that, if you were to go to that website, we naturally come up as number one in Chicago when you Google real estate consulting. We do provide those services, but our website will offer you a lot of links and a lot of information, that we don't necessarily password protect. It's open, and we share it. So we also have, word of mouth organic marketing. When you talk about us here in Chicago and you might meet someone, you might bring up our name, people know who we are. We do sell all over the city. Chicago is pretty small compared to Chicagoland, so, we do sell all over, and then we also sell in the suburbs. But usually people will kind of know we're about a degree or two away from, everyone here in the city. We interact with a lot of different people and make sure that we maintain our relationships. You'll see our signs around. When you're driving around, you'll definitely see our presence. We have a Steelecast, which is the podcast that we do. We're similar to this. We'll interview, various bankers and different professionals within the industry so that our clients can, have some, things to study up on, when they want to sit on the couch in the evening times and kind of, learn about real estate. So we make it a point to record those podcasts so you can, check us out that way. And then, like as I said before, you can Google Chicago Real Estate Consulting, and we come up there number one organically. We don't pay for any advertising, but we pretty much make it easy to find us, depending on what kind of channels and kind of what you want to do. And you can always call us, so, you can reach us, at 877-724-0070, and we'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you or help you out in any way.
Excellent. Well, Hasani, I obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Hasani, like I said, you can go to his site. You can jump on Google or give him a call. Actually, below this interview, we'll have a link to his site and any other contact information we have so you can see how he can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.